get started with the action right now. Let's get started
Absolutely.
with our predictions right here. We got the first fight right here, which is a bantamweight matchup between Sugar Sean O'Malley, and he's going up against Kris Moutinho. First, you got Sean O'Malley. He's 13-1, and he's the minus 800 favorite. And then he's going up against Kris Moutinho, who is 9-4 and is the plus 550 underdog. What do you see in this matchup?
Well, first with this card, I was super excited when I saw it because I was familiar with all the fighters, right? And then Lewis Smolka drops out, he gets hurt, and then Kris steps in. And I wasn't very familiar with Kris, but I'd like to first start saying thank you to Kris for stepping in on short notice and also welcome into the UFC. This is his big break.
Yeah.
So shout out to Kris for getting here. With this fight, I see O'Malley underestimating a newcomer who took the fight on short notice. But Moutinho brings power and a good ground game to this fight. Kris can move the pace, but he does have he is at a reach advantage of 2 inches, and he gives up 4 inches. O'Malley's a big bantamweight. He's a 5'11". He moves quick. That weight gain after the post weigh-in gain is going to be pretty big for him, but he moves well and likes to use his leg kicks to set up combinations. With O'Malley, I expect O'Malley to win this fight, and I think the path towards the victory is his use of those leg kicks, the use of the jab to set up combinations, to stun Kris, and then just go in. I think he knocks him down, hits him with ground and pound, and it's game over. So with that, I'm going to go with Sugar Sean O'Malley, TKO, round 2.
Oh, I like that. I like that. It's almost close to what I have, but
nice.
With my breakdown, I got Sean O'Malley. He is a southpaw who loves to throw a lot of feints, and he has great striking IQ. He loves to use a vast range of kicks to attack his opponents, and he has really good footwork. That's what he's known for. He likes to go into the opposite stance of his opponent when fighting. He controls the range well and has great speed advantage, but needs to improve his durability. He has one punch knockout capability. Then you got Kris Moutinho. He's the newcomer, of course, just like you said. He's a replacing Smolka. He is a southpaw who likes to walk you down when fighting. He has a brawler-style mentality and tends to leave his chin in the air. Speed usually isn't on his side, but he allows too much damage on himself, and he tries to get his opponent to trade with him to get it into his game plan. He is very durable, though, and he likes to fight close up to try and get the advantage on his side. But in this matchup, we're going to go with the lines here. The line speaks for itself. I'm going with Sean O'Malley by first round knockout, possibly by leg kick. I'm a guy that likes the leg kick, like to a fault. But if you saw the matchups that he's had, even against Almeida, he used that leg kick and he was able to knock him down a couple of times with it. And that was a guy like Thomas Almeida, who is very well known for having that prodigy feeling up until he got into that 3-4 fight losing streak with the last fight, of course, being against O'Malley. And I just feel like, plus with his height advantage, he's going to have a pretty decent height advantage, and he's just going to be able to move around. Right now, he is at the point that Conor McGregor was years ago at the start of his rise, with the karate stance, the moving around, keeping it at a distance. And it's kind of like a crazy parallel between the two of them. But I just see Sean O'Malley winning this, and that he's already been on the book in saying that when he wins, he has a guy in mind that he's going to call out after the fight. So he's definitely going to come in with a lot of confidence.
Yeah, let me ask you a question. With O'Malley, I think the parallel with Conor is there, right? They're both super they have their personas. They're both good on the mic. They're both great fighters. They both move well, and they're both marketable, right?
Yeah.
Do you think that the UFC, and I've seen this online, and I was curious to see where you stick with this. Do you think the UFC is kind of treating Sean O'Malley the way that Bellator treated Michael Venom Page, and kind of baby gloved him a little bit, and not taking away anything from O'Malley? Like, he's a great fighter. We all saw what he did to Eddie Wineland. We saw what he did to Thomas Almeida, but they've been giving him declining fighters or unranked fighters. His only true test was Cheeto.
Yeah.
So what do you think?
I cold-heartedly agree with you. I said this on one of the podcasts I was on the other day that was my input. That I thought they're giving him the MVP treatment where they're giving him guys that they know that he can win, and then they finally give him somebody, and then of course he had that dumb luck against Cheetah Vera. Great use of the check by Vera, but if he had have done that, I still think Sean O'Malley would have had a good fight against him,
Yeah, I agree.
and then he probably would have won. But he did that; it was the right move. He won. Sean O'Malley got hurt, and then he came back, and then of course he beat Almeida. But it's weird how they actually moved down. Like he beat Almeida, and then he went down to fight guys instead of moving on up.
Yeah, like
so I hope
see other fighters like Cyril Gane, right?
Yeah.
Full head of steam. He's getting a title shot, right? Couple wins in the UFC, beat ranked guys. Sean O'Malley came through Contender Series. He has impressive wins, highlight fashion wins, right? And hasn't got a ranked fighter.
Yeah.
You know, not even top 15 fighters, right? He wants, like, the way that stars have been built through the UFC in the past, like, if you put a 3-fight win streak together, 2-fight win streak, you have an impressive knockout, you're getting a ranked fighter so they can try to move you into the rankings. It hasn't happened there. So I'm really curious to see kind of what's going on, and I'm really curious to see who he calls out. Do you have any ideas? Or
I have no idea, because he called out Dominic Cruz last time, and that it didn't happen. So I'd be inclined to see who it does. It would likely be somebody in that 7 to 10 range.
I'm thinking Cody.
It could be Cody. That'd be an awesome fight.
Yeah.
But like, before you transition to that, like, I just was, the thought process I had here is Cheetah Vera was right outside that top 10, or I think he was at 10 or 11 when they fought. So I think him losing that kind of like made them like backtrack a little bit and be like, okay, he lost that. Maybe we need to give him a couple fights and then put him back into that spot. So maybe that's what their thought process was. And then just not that many people were available, so they had to do something like this. But we will see if he wins or not. He should win, but I think it would be kind of I don't want to say it would be a miracle, but it'd be a miracle if he loses.